Hello and welcome to yet another live with me, Namita Ramani, founder and CEO of Above Digital, a lead generation agency based in Dubai, where we help small businesses generate leads using digital platforms like Facebook and Google. These live shows that I do on my page are my way of helping other entrepreneurs and business owners on their path on entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship can be really lonely. I've been there, I'm an entrepreneur myself, and there have been so many times when you feel down, things are not going well. There are always different stages of life in business. In life, there are different stages of ups and downs in businesses. And during these times is when you hear someone who's doing well, or you hear other people's stories, and what kept them going in their tough times used to keep me going and give me the power and encouragement. So using these lives and having other entrepreneurs on this show is my way of inspiring myself and some of you on the way. Today we are in conversation with Mona Tavassoli. Mona is a founder and CEO of Mompreneurs Middle East. Welcome, Mona, to my show.
Thank you.
A quick introduction about Mona. She runs Mompreneur Middle East, which is a B2B platform that caters to female entrepreneurs and enables them to promote their businesses. She has been featured across a number of different publications and media outlets, including Sky News, SME Advisor. She's been on Dubai Eye Radio, and she's given a wonderful TED Talk as well. I highly recommend you Google her TED Talk and have a look at that. She's shared some interesting... What was the TED Talk about, by the way?
Stereotyping. It was the illusions of stereotyping.
Illusions of stereotyping women, or
I used different topics, and I used hi everyone.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah.
So it was stereotyping, and I shared some stories because I met a lot of women entrepreneurs, women in Saudi, women in different countries that are doing very well. So I used that. I'm not going to spoil it for you, so please go and watch. But I've highlighted a couple of women entrepreneurs and mom entrepreneurs that have been doing great, and the whole topic is about stereotyping.
Okay, that was an interesting watch as well. I really enjoyed that TED Talk. She has been featured by Arabian Business, The National, and many other publications. Mona is a mother of two, an entrepreneur, and an adventurer. And in today's conversation, we are going to hear about Mona's journey as an entrepreneur, her successes, her failures, her learnings, and her growth. Mona, over to you. So how did the idea of Mompreneurs came about?
Sure. So thank you for having me, Namita. It's great to be here with you and your guest. Hi, everyone. I'm going to share with you a little bit before I launched Mompreneurs Middle East. I came to Dubai in '99 and I did my bachelor here at University of Wollongong. Then I started working in advertising agencies. Okay. I started from a local company. I still remember I found my first job from Gulf News. Those times still people would look into jobs from Gulf News. So it wasn't really through any connections, or it was me finding a local company. Then I went to a regional company, and then I got a job at Publicis Graphics, and I was working on Nestle as a brand, which was a great working experience for me. So I loved my time at advertising agencies. It was amazing, from packaging of the products to the TVC, so you could actually see what you have worked on either on the shelves or on TV, and that was fascinating for me. But there was some point that in my TEDx talk I shared why I love tourism, and I believe that destination marketing and human connection is one of the best ways to see peace in the world, because when people get to travel to other countries, they get to know other cultures, and it seems like we get a lot more open-minded about other cultures and other people through tourism and traveling. So I went to France alone. I was planning to go alone, and then the same year I met my husband, and he came with me. So we went together. It wasn't planned. I think the universe has surprises for us. You know, the same year that I was sure I would not get married, I got married. So we went together, which was fantastic, and he did his master's as well. So both of us, we did our master's in France. We stayed there around 2 years. We came back. My partner, my husband, he also has background in advertising. So we started our own ad agency here. And at that time I was pregnant with my first son. So it was perfect for me, because I could work any time that I wanted. So that flexibility as a new mother was really important to me. So we started our own agencies, lots of ups and downs. I'm going to share that with you. And afterwards, when Ryan was born, it was around 9 months after that, we had a big party for Ryan. as part of culture, we don't do baby showers before, we do afterwards.
Okay.
So we had a big party, a lot of guests. Ryan was already 4 months old, and I got so many gifts. So many gifts, you know. I remember after the party, I was putting all the jeans on his bed. We had 16 pair of jeans for a 4 months old. I was like, wow, what am I going to do with this? And we had, let's say, a food warmer or a bottle sterilizer, which were fantastic, but I already had them.
Yeah.
So I came up with the idea of what if, you know, and kids outgrow their products, their items very, very soon.
Yeah.
What if we have a classified for parents where they can buy and sell their items, but it's somebody that you know. So for example, I know that Mona has a 4-month-old son and my son is just born. Let me follow Mona, so whatever Mona puts, it's something. So it's like a more personal touch then.
Okay.
So with that, we put the agency together. We had an art director already. We had the programmer already as part of our digital agency, as part of our advertising agency. And we came up with the idea of Mom Soup, which was supposed to be a side project for me. I wasn't supposed to work on it full time. And after we launched the Mom Souk, which was great, I loved it. We did a couple of events. I remember we had only 500 likes on our Facebook, and somebody called me. I was in Knowledge Village, that's in 2012, and said, Mona, I have baby classes. Do you mind promoting my classes on your page? And the immediate answer was like, of course we can promote you. That's like such a boost of confidence. We just launched a couple of months ago, and then somebody's already asking us to promote them. But I think at that time I didn't really think of, okay, if I promote you, what am I going to get from you? What is the deal? What is the contract? I didn't even know her. The immediate answer was like, of course we can promote you. We started promoting her, and I think at that time, 2012, even with 500 likes, you could reach a good number of people. It's not like now that with 50,000 you can't reach anybody.
Even Facebook was new at that time.
Exactly. So with 500 likes, you could actually get to a couple of people, and our audience were moms. So before I know it, honestly, like the second person came to us, and can you promote us? The third person, the fourth person, and we had a little album on Facebook called Mompreneurs. And we started promoting all of these moms who have the same target audience as us, and they had something catering to other moms in Dubai and the UAE. So before I know it, in a matter of months, we had 25 women promoting them, in that little Facebook folder called Mompreneurs. Which was fascinating. It was really interesting for me. So I would love to tell you, Namita, that I had this business plan and I worked on it for 6 months. I didn't, you know, it was really like somebody called me and said, can you promote us? We said yes, and we started promoting them. We relaunched Mom Souk from a classified to a community. So we have a section of mommy bloggers, mom entrepreneurs, inspirational moms. I blogged. But then the part that really picked up was the mompreneurs. There are a lot of mom entrepreneurs in the UAE, which is fascinating. And then the research that I did, there are several reasons that we have so many entrepreneurs. But that was the part that, for me also, I was the most passionate about. Connecting all women together, promoting their businesses. It was something that I enjoyed the most. So after a year, in September 2013, after we had over 100 mom entrepreneurs, we launched the Mompreneurs Middle East, and we started promoting all of the mompreneurs, again for free, on our website. We give them media exposure. We have been on radio with them, different magazines, you know, on TV. So the concept of mompreneurs was actually very interesting for media as well. So immediately we got, you know, calls from TV, from radios, and it was from the 3 businesses that we started, the Polar Bear ad agency, Mom Souk, and Mompreneurs. Mompreneurs was the one that I was the most passionate about. So this is how we launched it in September 2013, and I've been working on the concept since then.
There's some things that are just supposed to fall in your lap. Like this is something
Definitely.
how I launched Spa Genie, one of our websites as well. I personally wanted to find out what are the spa deals going on in the market. So I used to sit and call all these spas. I'm a spa lover, because of the brand you can know that. So I used to call all these different spas and find out what are the deals going on, because spa at that time was really expensive. This is in 2009, 2010, when the prices were, there were not so many spas yet. And so I thought maybe other people are also looking for all these deals just like me. So I put together a small little newsletter, and I promoted those on Facebook ads, because the ads had just started at that time. This is in the year 2009, 2010. The platform as Facebook came online in 2007, I think, in this market. So, and then I had like 300 people subscribe to my newsletter. And I'm like, really? This is how you come to know that the market exists. I think this is one of the ways you can test if your product has a market or not. What do you say, Mona? So you did a research, you mentioned, when you started having all these mums come to you. What research did you do to know why are there so many entrepreneurs?
Just the surveys, because I think the concept was really interesting. I got invited to a lot of events to speak, whether I was on a panel or as a keynote speaker. So I had to have more of a research as backup for my talks. And I realized that there are a couple of reasons that we have so many entrepreneurs, mom entrepreneurs in the region. One of them is that the maternity leave is only 45 days. So people really don't want to get back to their full-time job immediately after their child is born. So one of the reasons we have so many mom entrepreneurs is entrepreneurship gives them that flexibility, and they can work
from home,
work flexible hours. And the other thing is that there are a lot of expats here. So within our community, I realized that a lot of them, they have something back home that they can't find it here. So they just start a concept here. So it's a personal need that then they launch it as a business. And also because after Ripe Market or Arte Market, like all of these exhibitions that give that platform to small businesses to promote themselves, everybody gets, you know, encouraged to start something
on their own.
Yeah, exactly.
So a little bit of research on your own also should help in understanding if there is really a market or not.
For sure.
So this is how Mompreneurs came and Mom Soup came. So when did you start making money from Mompreneurs then? Because having a concept, having a website, having the community is good, but then it needs to fund itself, right?
For sure. One of the things that I always say is that I was one of the lucky ones that we already had an advertising agency, because something like an ad agency, you know that it will pay the bills. You know, there are clients, it's more of a traditional kind of a business, you know. You find a client on a retainer or on a project basis. I would never start on my own Mom Souk as a concept. I would not pay X amount for the license, X amount for the rent, X amount to bring up a concept that I'm not sure whether it's gonna work or not. And honestly, when I started Mom Souk, I really thought it would be a side project. I was not thinking that it's gonna make a lot of money. So a lot of ideas actually die at the beginning because of all of these red tapes and, you know, investments, etc. Today, if I know that, like the concepts, how it's going to work, if I go back, definitely I would start it with all the costs involved. But at that point, in 2011, I didn't know that it will work one day. So I'm not sure I would go through all of the hassle of setting up a business, not knowing whether it's going to work or not. So we already had an ad agency, we already had our own clients. Everything was, and still is, bootstrapping. We pay everything. We never got any investors on board. It's very hard, especially as an entrepreneur, if you're doing everything on your own. I'm sure you know that.
Absolutely.
It's really, really challenging when you try to do everything on your own. But that's the path that we decided to take. And between the three projects, so with Mompreneurs Middle East, we have events, so we have sponsors on board. We have a course which I will talk about. So all of these are, so we are a for-profit, it's not a non-profit organization. So all of these bring us the revenue.
The revenues. You know, like you rightly said, not every time you know a project is going to be successful, but we entrepreneurs have this one gift, which is a gut. Yeah, you hear your gut, you know what kind of risk you're into, and you have to take calculative risks. Like, you know, for businesses and entrepreneurs who don't really have that much budget, but don't know and believe in the idea. And if you've done the legwork in the beginning, which is the research, like how Mona tried her product, these different mom entrepreneurs started coming to her and advertise on her little Facebook group. So did I, when I just did a small little campaign of newsletters for Spa Genie, and I had all these 300 people register for the newsletter. That's when I came to know there is a market. And I also believe a lot of times when there is a need by us, when we need something, there's going to be many others like us who would need the same product. So this is one way of how I gauge if there's a market or not.
Yeah.
So
market research is very important. I said that I didn't do market research, but you don't listen to me. Please do your market research before you start your business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what are the biggest challenges you faced on the way in building the community, building the website? Like really, when did you fall down, and then what did you do to come back up again? Because I'm sure we all go through these issues in the course of the business life?
Definitely. I had many challenges, and I'm going to share them with you. I hope I won't scare you. So any of you who is planning to start a business, I have to tell you that I'm still an entrepreneur. So that is a good sign. With all of the challenges that I'm going to share with you,
You survived.
I'm still surviving. So it has lots of ups and downs. I usually get asked when I'm on a panel or at the events, are entrepreneurs born or made? And I know that, being an entrepreneur requires a certain character. You should be very persistent. You have to, you should really go after it no matter what. It's like buying a one-way ticket when you become an entrepreneur. But at the same time, they are made. Let me tell you that 90% of entrepreneurs fail within the first 3 years of their business.
Yeah.
So that's 9 out of 10. That's a lot of businesses that fail in the first couple of years. But there are certain things that we can do when it's educating ourselves, investing in ourselves, the different courses which are available out there, different masterminds, networking groups, the support group that we have. So there are a lot of things that come into factor to make us succeed, and I'll talk about those afterwards. But let me tell you the challenges first. So because we launched 3 businesses in a short period of 3 years, we faced a lot of challenges at the beginning. One of them was that we were not really focused. So as an entrepreneur, you're also usually very creative. So you come up with new ideas.
All
right?
the time.
All the time. You come up with new ideas, and you love building stuff. You love making something new. So we built Polar Bear Creative, Momsuk, and Mompreneurs Middle East in a period of not even 3 years. It's like 2.5 years. We came up with 3 concepts. So that had its own challenges of finding the right target market for it, promoting it in a good way. Now I tell people to focus on one idea, and that's what I did as well. Afterwards, I've taken a lot of entrepreneurship courses, and one of them is called VV Grow by Vital Voices. I'm not sure if I mentioned it to you, but Vital Voices, they are based in the US, and they invest in women in the Middle East, in different parts of the world. And their application is actually open now. So for those of you who are interested, I'll give you more details if you want to apply for their entrepreneurship course. It's a 1-year course. During the course that I had with Vital Voices in 2015, that was one of the learnings that I had, to focus on one idea. And we worked a lot on my driving force as Mona. What are my values? What is it that I want in life? What is my mission? And then every time education and empowerment and women's empowerment came on the top, all the time, no matter which test I did, education and empowerment was always on the top. And we realized that Mompreneurs Middle East is the project that is really in line with my mission and with my driving force as well. So one of the things that I would say is that every time that you want to do a business, think of your own values, of your own purpose, of your own mission, and see which concept is in line with that. Because during those times that it really gets tough, Simon Sinek mentions it at Know Your Why, or start with your why. When we know that why we are doing it, it keeps us on track. It keeps us going. So with Mompreneurs Middle East, I can realize that no matter how hard it gets, when I know why I do it, and our why is that we believe empowered mothers raise empowered children who are our future leaders. So we are empowering women, we are empowering mothers through entrepreneurship. Knowing your why is very important. So for me, understanding and having that crystal clear idea of what is my why in 2015 made everything a lot easier than the first couple of years. So to start with, I'm going to share with you a couple of challenges. One of them was HR, something that a lot of entrepreneurs, when we start, we don't think of it. We think that
hiring help.
Yeah, exactly. We feel that it's easy. Like everybody talks about the marketing and finance, but nobody talks about HR. And for those of us who come from corporate, usually HR is something which is done completely by another department. So we never get involved in something like called HR. So when we started our own business, HR was one of our biggest challenges. And in the first couple of months, I think I would say the right word is that we got carried away by hiring a lot of people. So at some point we were like 11 people at the agency, and it was a lot, For the first couple of months it was fine, but then when we hit summer and when we hit Ramadan and things started slowing down, that was when it got really tough of paying those salaries, and our cost went really high. So having a lean team when you're starting is also was one of my learnings. So now we outsource everything, and we have agencies who handle everything for us. So it's not a long-term commitment, and we can have a short-term contracts with agencies or with freelancers to work with. So having a lean team is also very, very important. There was some point that we were not able to pay the salaries, and I think that was the toughest moment in my entire 6 years of entrepreneurship, because when you're not able to pay salaries, it's not only about the company, it's now our own values, like my own values, and it was my own integrity that was in question. That's a difficult moment. That's very I don't know how to, I still get goosebumps when I mention that as an entrepreneur, your identity becomes your business becomes your identity. So if you can't say, for example, at the time that we realized we can't really, during the summer or Ramadan, we have to let people go because we can't pay their salary. That was one of the hardest things that we had to do, because as I said, it wasn't only about the business anymore. It was about my integrity and my values. So now we have learned the lesson. We don't hire anyone unless we are sure that we can keep them. That we can keep them for a long period of time. Who to hire? We had, that was another challenge. Like, we meet a person, we like her, we like him, let's hire them. Then I went to Brian Tracy's seminar, and he was saying you are not allowed to hire anybody unless you meet them 3 times in 3 different rooms, 3 different people. I said, I don't do any of that.
You take the training very strictly, huh?
Exactly. So who to hire, and make sure that their values are in line with yours. That was another lesson that I learned. So at some point I hired a brilliant single lady. Brilliant, I mean, she's amazing. But at some point she was like, Mona, why are you giving all of these free things to moms? Why are you doing this? I realized it has to be when you hire another mom, or when you hire somebody who understands the needs of the moms, and you put them in touch with the community. It depends on the role. Then they understand their needs.
The challenges.
When you hire a guy, for example, to be a community manager, it doesn't really work. No matter. So it really depends, and it's not about the gender here. It's about the person who is handling it. They understand the market very well, and they understand your why. That's when I hire somebody now, the first thing I tell them is sharing with them our why and see if it resonates with them. We lost a lot of money working with wrong agencies. We, at some point in 2012, we hired an agency to work on our SEO, because Momswig is a digital platform. We lost a lot of money.
Nothing happened.
Nothing come up. Nothing. So they would keep telling us, like, after 6 months, after 6 months came, nothing happened. I lost a lot of money with that agency, and then I became a lot more careful of who to hire, who to talk to in terms of agencies. And so a lot of work challenges, definitely. I would say that everything finally clicked in 2014 after 3 years, and but I also started having a lot of personal challenges. I work with my husband, and there are ups and downs, there are good things and bad things about working with your partner, but it was at some point that it was really hurting our relationship. So not only we had like business challenges, we had personal challenges, because all we were talking about was work. And a lot of it is my fault. I was waking up at 2 a.m. Someone, did you send that email? So having that line of not crossing the line between your life partner and your business partner. It at some point we decided that, and we have complete different characters. So at some point we said, okay, it's not going to work. Let's not work together. So we separated all of the responsibilities. He was on the agency. I was only on Mompreneurs Middle East. For a good 1.5 years, we were not working together. And then we learned. We learned to respect each other's differences, to put our strengths together, and to put boundaries for everything. And now I'm happy to say that we're working happily together. So but I had relationship challenges. It was really, really tough at some point. When Ryan was born, and when my second son Darian was born, I had a lot of challenges with trying to balance between everything. So a lot of personal and professional challenges came along the way, but they made me the person I am today. They really made me grow. And I think I figured it out finally last year in 2016. You know, it was like all of these pieces of puzzle that I put them together, and it was last year that I took a step back and I said, wow, you know, now I can see the bigger picture. Yeah.
It can be really challenging to work together as partners, and it can be very much daunting on the relationship because there's so much pressure, work in this. Wow, interesting. It must be... So what did you do to overcome these challenges? What kind of books did you read? What kind of courses did you do? You know, I really believe, even me, I believe in training and learning a lot, like how Mona shared. She took all these courses with Vital Voices and Brian Tracy. Even I used to read books on Brian Tracy. I follow Robin Sharma. I used to be in his 4 o'clock club. I would actually religiously wake up at 4 and then think, what do I do? Then I'll sit and read something, then I'll go for my workout. I actually started following every little step that he told me to do, and it started changing my life slowly and gradually. At that time, we don't really realize what's happening. I used to wonder, like, Namita, seriously, you're waking up at 4 just because Robin Sharma said? I'm like, yes, you have. You know, there's different voices inside you that are talking to you. With one is saying yes and one is against it. Like, seriously, we don't have to wake up. But it's just that when you listen to the right voice and just keep doing, and eventually you start seeing the benefits. I actually started meditating and following a little morning routine, and that kept me. And you won't believe, I still do it. It's been years. I still wake up at 5. I read a lot more in the morning now. So at least 2 hours I read in the morning. I listen to all these different podcasts and books that I read that keeps me inspired and loaded whole day to go through the day and inspire my team. Because as leaders, you know, you are a business leader. As entrepreneurs, we are actually leaders running our shows and our teams, and you need to be inspirational and motivational to make people do the work, right? Yeah. So that's what keeps us going. So what kind of books and trainings did you do to overcome these challenges?
Yeah. So there's a saying that motivation is like taking shower. You can't take shower one day and then expect, you know, to be clean for the rest of your life. It's daily practices. Yeah. It's the daily disciplines that makes a huge difference. So for me, I have a Audible app on my phone from Amazon. So I always listen to an audiobook at any point in time. So that makes traveling, that makes, you know, traffics, that makes being in the car a lot more enjoyable when you're actually listening to a book. So Audible is one of my best friends. Podcasts, as you mentioned, so different podcasts that I follow in different areas that I listen to. At this given moment, now that we talk, I'm enrolled in 6 different courses.
Wow.
So I believe in, with like all my heart and mind, that the reason I'm here, the reason that I've grown, you know, personally and professionally, it's because of all of the courses and all of the trainings that I took. Yeah. So I am enrolled in 6 different courses at the moment, from leadership to digital marketing to everything when it comes in the area of our business. And I keep learning from different digital courses are fantastic. So if you have access, because they give you that flexibility
of your time and space.
Exactly, you can listen to them at any point. They usually have that community support around them, but also in-person training has its own advantages. So if you get a chance to go to different networking events, different courses, it makes a huge difference of meeting like-minded people, surrounding yourself. So I have my own mastermind, I have my own mentors. These are the people that you want to inspire you, because if you want to do something new, if you want to do something different, but you are still surrounded with, you know, people who don't have the similar mindset, it's very likely that, you know, even with the questions that they ask you, like, why are you doing this? Why are you waking up at 4? Why do you meditate? I became a vegetarian, vegan, and like the number of questions, why did you become vegetarian? I said I will write a blog post about it. You know, the people who are not in line, like they don't understand what you're doing, and then they keep questioning you, and then without knowing it, even unconsciously, you start questioning yourself as well. So for me, is feeding my mind from different books to audiobooks, podcasts, the different courses that I take. That's professionally and personally. So I remember in 2013, my life was a mess from all the words. From outside, I was very successful. You know, I was getting all of these features in magazines. I was on panel at different events. People were seeing me on radio, etc. I had 3 businesses. I had my family. So from outside, when you look at it, it was perfect. But inside of me, it was it was broken because I had forgotten myself. I had dedicated all of my time and all of my energy to my business and my son, the family, and I had forgotten about myself. And I remember it was February 2013. I went to one of these networking events, Hills and Deals. I don't know if you remember.
I think that's where we met.
Is it?
I think so.
Interesting. They don't do events anymore.
Yeah.
But at that time, it was Judy May Murphy. I'm not sure if you attended that. And Judy May, she's a super coach based in the UK. And she came and said, write 3 things that you're going to do for yourself this weekend. You have 5 minutes, and the entire 5 minutes, like, I don't have a single thing that I can do for myself that I call it fun. And at that point, it was more of a wake up call for me, that what happened to my life. Yes, I'm working all of these long hours on my business, and I'm a mom and I'm a wife. I have all of this responsibility. But what about Mona? I had forgotten about Mona. What does Mona want? What does Mona like? What about me? And at that point, I went to Judy May Murphy, and she had some private coaching, quite expensive. At least for me, it was very expensive. But it was more like an emergency. So I had some emergency cash aside that I
actually invested
for the coaching. And I said, you know what, it can't get more urgent than this.
Yeah.
And I said, either I had lost, it was quite a lot of money for the private coaching with her. I said, either I had lost my savings, and I'm not going to talk about it anymore, it was a learning, or I'm going to start this journey of investing in myself. I call it a self-mastery journey. After those 3 hours with Judy May Murphy, I can't tell that my life changed, but I learned so much from her that it was the beginning of the journey. And after that, in September 2013, I did my NLP, Neuro-Linguistic program. That's also a program which is 8,000-9,000 dirhams. So for me as an entrepreneur, it's a lot of money to invest in for a program. But again, I realized the power of my mind. I realized the power of my unconscious mind. I realized how I can create my own life. I went to London to do Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within. Another extraordinary experience. I can't say that each of them, like which one changed my path.
A cumulative effect.
It was really the combination of all of them. If you get a chance, while these gurus like Tony Robbins are still doing the talks, I recommend you to go and visit them. Whether you go to London or to the US, or I don't know if they come to the UAE. But these are the people that they have inspired millions of people. And I know that they are not going to do it.
Yeah. If you get a chance.
If you get a chance to do it, I highly recommend you to do it. So by 2014, I learned a lot about the power of my mind and how I am the creator of my life. So I was like, it was more of I was like into doing and making everything happen. And Tony Robbins, I'm not sure if you have watched his videos, but it was like making things happen.
Yeah.
And
this charges you up.
Exactly. All the time.
Battery is on.
Go on the trampoline and jump up and down. And when Darian, my second son, was born, 2015, it was again another experience for me to step back and say, okay, what's now? Because juggling between 2 businesses now and 2 kids, etc., wasn't also that easy. So 2015 was more of a spirituality journey. I read a lot from the Eckhart Tolle's books, The Power of Now and The New Earth. I think I listened to The New Earth 8 or 9 times. And
really?
Really. And every time I'm like,
every time some new bulb comes up.
Every time. Especially when it comes to the spirituality, I think there are a lot of things that even when you listen to it, we don't get it.
Yeah.
If we are not ready for that message, we don't get it. So when you listen to it again, it was like, I can't believe that, he said that last time and I didn't understand what he said. So every time, especially when it comes, even business is like that. I think everything that, depending on our level, we hear what we can hear or what we want to hear. So 2015 was really more of a spirituality, and everything slowed down a little bit. And again, 2016 that I mentioned last year, it was like, I have this necklace of infinity. And for me, it's like the balance between our being and doing. It's the balance between our spirituality and our human experience here to make a difference. So it was all of these workshops, books. On a personal level, I shared with you. On a business level, there are a lot of courses out there that I have taken. All of these helped me to become a better person and become a better entrepreneur.
I highly believe what Mona said, and even I do that. But the biggest change that happened in my business was when I did the first course in America. I actually flew to America for 10 days or 15 days to do that little workshop, and that changed the way my business was. And suddenly we started producing better results in our campaigns, and then more clients. It just started growing on its own. Fantastic point on training and learning, a fantastic point on also human resources, on hiring the right people. So I say in my work in these live shows that as an entrepreneur, you should get help the minute you can afford help, but also be mindful of who you get on board.
Exactly.
Somebody who shares the same values with you, somebody who understands your market, who probably has gone through the same challenges as you, who's more, whose thought processes are very similar to yours. It's so amazing how my whole team is exactly like how I am. And probably that's why I'm able to motivate them and inspire them. They watch these podcasts, they listen, they do whatever I suggest, it gets followed on. And they really enjoy whatever, we do things together and learnings and stuff. So yeah, invest in training courses, invest in your learning, hire the right people. We have so many amazing nuggets coming from Mona today. So mompreneurs also, you do events. Yeah,
yes.
Events is a totally different ball game, and it must be also very challenging to get people to the events.
Yes.
How did you go through those challenges of successful events?
We have great partners, and one thing that I wanted to mention is when I started my business, I did not have a huge budget. I still don't have when it comes to marketing, when it comes to spending. We have two types of entrepreneurs. There are those who come with a huge, they have the money. Mm-hmm. And they hire the right team, and they spend a lot on their marketing. They get the work, the word out, PRs, etc. Or there are those like me who come with no money, and everything that you put is like your own
savings.
Not just your own savings, or your own. You become the personal. You become the brand.
Yeah.
So I remember that like when we launched Momsuk. And we went on a vacation, and I had the flyers and the cards always in my bag, and there was like another family sitting next to us, and I like went to them and gave them the flyer because they had a little dot girl. I was like, have you heard of Momsuk? It's a community, It was honestly, I'm not
so
joking.
Much passion in entrepreneurs.
But one person at a time, for me it was not like I did not have the money to pay for all of those advertisements.
Yeah.
It was one person at a time, going to different markets, talking to different people, going to different events, myself exhibiting at different events. And then I realized that actually doing our own events is one of the best ways to do the marketing. And we have great partners. One thing I learned as an entrepreneur is that it's not about our resources, it's about being resourceful. So it's not always about, okay, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have the money. It's like, what can I do with what I have? How can I use what I have, and how can I add so much value that people want to work with me? So we have a great list of, I would say, 30 partners minimum that they support us and they promote us, and these are the ones that we don't necessarily pay them, but we work together, so we promote them as well. So being able to send a message across from all of these hubs that they have their own networks, and being able to work with them really helped me. One thing that I didn't do it on purpose, but again helped a lot, was I was going to every single event that was happening initially. And I remember even by asking questions, it was one of the Do Forum events in 2013, that I just raised my hand, introduced myself, and asked the question. Just the concept of mompreneurs was very interesting. You never know who is in the audience. You never know who is sitting there and who is listening to. The chief editor of SME Advisor came to me and said, tell me more about the concept of mompreneurs. And I got 4 pages feature in SME Advisor in 2013. That was huge for me. I did not pay for it, but getting 4 full pages in SME Advisor, the next edition we got 2 pages. And having that relationship with media is also super important. And it really happened just by me going to all of these events, introducing myself,
being proactive, standing up,
exactly, asking questions, introducing myself, talking to different people. So creating your own support group in business is very important. So for us, we have our own community, but we also work with other networking groups or other companies, other organizations who have their own communities.
Joint ventures is something that you should look out for. People who have similar target market like yours, but they're not really the competition. Am I correct?
Some of them, some people ask me, like, how can you work with your competitor, because like the X company is your competitor. I said, you know, if you're into women's empowerment, and there's another organization who is also into women's empowerment, who am I, or who is my organization to say, you know, other organization cannot, can or cannot empower women? It's really when your why is so strong, it goes beyond you. So definitely our own financials, you know, numbers, etc. is very important, but it's about giving the choice to the community, adding so much value that you want, they will choose you, but they will choose somebody else as well. When I say I'm enrolled in 6 different courses, it doesn't mean which one is better or worse. I'm learning something new from each and every one of them. So I also believe that all the other networking groups out there, they're adding value to the community. So why not giving the choice to the community for them to choose?
So one question, just curious, which is not in my, you are enrolled to 6 different courses.
Yes.
You are a mom, you are a wife, you have a house to run, and you have all these 3 businesses. Where does this time come from? You have only 24 hours that even I have.
That's, I'll talk about my course. That's something I learned a lot about energy optimization, how to and time management and goal setting. And these are the 3 things that I teach in my course that we will talk about later on. But I learned really to identify my values. What are the things which are important for me? So, for example, for me, well-being, exercising 1 hour a day is a must. You know, it's non-negotiable. So my own well-being is there to make sure that I can function. These are the things that I had forgotten about in 2013. When I said that my life was a mess, it's because I had forgotten about me and my own needs. And now I always make sure that I first make sure that my energy is high in order to be able to serve my community, to serve my children, to be, I always say that, you know, your husband, your children, your employees, they deserve the best version of you.
Absolutely.
They deserve you. So what's the point of being at home all the time, but you know, you're sad and
sobbing and whatever, you're down and energy is low.
That energy that you're giving to the people around you is do you want somebody to give you that energy? If not, do something about it. So for me, it's my responsibilities. I don't see it selfish to go to gym and work out. I see it selfish if I don't do that, because then I know that the time that I spend on my business or with my husband or my kids is not the best version of me. So when you do your best to be at the higher state of energy, the amount of time that you need to spend on different things becomes actually much less. So when you're tired, maybe you spend on a project for 3 hours. When you're at the highest state, it might take you 15 minutes. So it's not about managing the time, it's about managing ourselves and our energy.
Absolutely, so well said. Taking care of ourselves first, and then comes everything else. So share with us about your course, which is Mompreneur Rising.
As you said, as I said, I believe in courses and training, and they changed my life. Since I started taking all of these courses, it changed my life. And 2014, after 3 years of being in business, I realized that we have done so many mistakes, which I shared some of them here. And I realized that a lot of people that started with us, they were not in business anymore. The statistics that said 9 out of 10 businesses fail, I could see it in front of my eyes. It was not just statistics. So when I realized that it's the little things that we could do differently that would have made us save a lot of time and money. I would not spend X amount, over 20,000 dirhams on SEO if I knew certain things. I would not spend that much amount. You know, I lost a lot of time and money by just not knowing different things or not understanding the language of the agency. So in 2014, we put a course together that I wish I had taken when I started my business. It covers everything from business model canvas to market research to finance and marketing, how to pitch to an investor, how to prepare your pitch deck, and then we have a pitch finale afterwards. So the course we have the 9th version of the course coming up in September. We work with a small number of people because there are a lot of one-on-ones, a lot of coaching involved, and all the people who have taken this course, you know, that's something that keeps me going. They say it's an eye-opener. It's something that it makes them connect with other women entrepreneurs who are in the same field, meeting the right people, meeting the right agencies. And so that is Mompreneur Rising, which I'm very proud of, and I know that making a huge difference in other people's life. And we have another course called You Can Have It All, and that's my claim, You Can Have It All, which is a course about energy optimization, goal setting, and time management, especially for busy working women that they want to achieve more in their life. I believe that having a successful business and personal life, it's not a zero-sum game. So it can be win-win when we manage our resources properly. So these are the two courses that we have for the community.
You can have it all. You want to elaborate on you can have it all. That's the self-mastery project.
That's the self-mastery project.
Share with us more about that. Why is it important? You already heard actually having the why, having the values, having your energies. But I would love to know more about the self-mastery project.
So 2016 that I shared with you, it was a year that I felt everything clicked. You know, I felt that I'm not saying that my life is perfect, but I accepted it the way it is, and I'm growing every single day. But it's that inner peace, or it's that feeling of success is different, you know, from you to me. Each of us has different definition of success. So one thing we do at You Can Have It All, and then people ask me, Mona, how the same question I ask, how do you manage between, you know, you have 2 kids, 2 small children, you have your business, you do exercise, how do you manage it? And I work with a lot of coaches. When I was talking to them, I realized that one thing which is very important is our rituals. What type of rituals we put every day for us. So for example, every single day I have water, lemon juice and green juice, every single day. But it became a habit. I don't think about it anymore. How can we incorporate those habits into our life that make us a better person? So the whole course of You Can Have It All is about improving the quality of our lives. And there are certain things, small steps that we can take half an hour per day that make a huge difference in our performance. So I have this workshop, You Can Have It All, for corporates and for individuals. And we mainly focus on how they can manage their energy on the level of physical, emotional, mental and spiritual. And how can we make sure that all of these are always aligned. Then we talk about time management. It's not about, you know, managing time, it's about managing ourselves, but how can we make sure that we're making the most out of that 24 hours that we have. And also goal setting. How do we have that clarity when it comes to goals? Are our goals smart? So these are the 3 main things, and then how can we have habits and rituals into our life. So I claim that we can all have it all. So you can have it all when you incorporate these things into your life. And people who have taken the workshop, the testimonials that we get, it has improved the quality of their life a lot.
You guys have any questions? Please share and like this this session with people you think can benefit. Please go ahead and ask us questions. Mona and me would be very happy to answer them today, or later on also if you're watching a replay of this session. We would be watching the page for at least 48 hours for this particular session and reply your questions for sure. So Mona, we are almost at the end of our session, and we have gone a little bit ahead. You know, we have already covered 45 minutes. 2 more questions. What is the one core concept that you would like the audience to go with today? Something that they can take away and apply to their business and life.
Something very simple. I'm not going to share a new concept with you, but your network is your net worth. There is a saying that
you are known by the 5 people you hang around with.
Exactly. You're the average of 5 people that you spend the most time with. Whether it's your mastermind group, and people tell me, where do you find mastermind group? How did I find my mastermind group? In January, I called 5 people, not people that are my close friends, people that I met only one time. So at one event, I met them, I like what they do, I follow them, I want them to be in my circle of genius. I called them and said, I'm creating a mastermind group. Do you want to be in my group? Yes, we have our own mastermind group. We meet on a monthly basis. We share our goals and what are the things we need from each other. So creating a mastermind group, you don't really need to go somewhere. You can do it now. Call somebody and create your own mastermind group. And I created actually a gift for your audience, Namita. So I created Finding the Right Contacts. It's a page of 20 contacts that helped me in my business when I started the business in the UAE. So you can download it from monatavassoli.com/Namita. So you just go there and you will receive this in your email. these are the people, the networking events that are here, the co-working spaces, the magazines that can help you as an entrepreneur, the support that you have, the angel investors, so the mentorship organizations who offer mentorship. So this list has 20 organizations here that helped me personally, and I know them, or they are our partners that I believe they will help you as well. So just go to monatavassoli.com/Namita and get your copy as well. I highly believe that the people that you know, one of the best strategies is to surround yourself with all of these inspirational people in your life.
And before we go ahead to the last question, let's see who we have. We have some. Okay. Hi Gauri, I have lots of people. Okay, this is Sandeep Jaiswal is asking, what is the best way to promote business if I do not have funding or money?
I think, Sandeep, I shared that with you. I'm not sure if you just joined, but I did not have any money as well, so that makes two of us. And as I mentioned earlier, I became a personal. I was the one who was going from one event to another. So you either have the money or you have to give your time. These are the two things that you have to give in your business. So I did not have the money for marketing, so it was my time that all the networking events that I went. That's why I made this for you, because all of these networking groups, all of these events, they helped me to promote my business. And whenever I get invited to speak at an event, when I position yourself as an expert, again, I didn't do it consciously, it happened, and I realized that every time I go on a panel, 3 people register for our course because they can resonate with my why or with what we do. So one of the best ways to actually get the word out there is when you position yourself as an expert. Make sure that you are the best in your own field. When somebody says mompreneurs, usually it's our organization that comes into mind because we have that niche of building your own community.
Own your words.
Definitely, yeah. So it takes time. It takes time. Honestly, the first 3 years, it takes a lot of energy. In the first 3 years of my business, I was going from one event to another, promoting ourselves, speaking at different events, write a blog, do a podcast, do Facebook Lives, anything that you can do.
That is free, that you can do it because at the end of the day, if you don't have money to invest and hire other people to do it for you, you will have to do it all by yourselves. And there are so many different platforms available to do, like Facebook Live, it's free. All the social media channels are free for you to promote, and from a fraction, by investing a fraction of 10-15 dirhams a day, you can reach out to so many people who would be interested in your brand. So
sure, and I do have Facebook Lives every Thursday myself, and I talk about how to improve the quality of your lives. So the last session was about how to ask the right questions. When you say, why can't I find somebody? Your mind come up with answers which are all negative. You say, how can I? You know,
how you ask the questions.
How you ask the questions. So if you want, you can watch those Facebook Lives on my page as well, facebook.com/Mona Tavassoli. I go live every Thursday, share different things that can improve the quality of our lives. So it's about, as I mentioned before as well, it's not about the resources, it's about being resourceful. What can I do with what I have? So don't think about the things that you don't have, think about what can I do with the things that I have, and that makes a huge difference.
We have, you're welcome Sandeep. Samer Amritwa says, hi Mona, great work and best wishes for mompreneurs.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Parting words, Mona, anything you would like to share and where they can find you, your channels, your courses?
Sure. So you can find me on, if you go to monatavassoli.com/Namita, when you download the file that I prepared for you, you will have all of my details as well. So my personal page, everything is at Mona Tavassoli, from Instagram to Facebook, Twitter and LinkedIn, and everything from Mompreneurs Middle East is at Mompreneurs ME. If any of you is interested to know more about our courses, whether it's Mompreneur Rising, it's a 2-month course that we teach everything to people who have started a business or who are planning to start a business. Usually 5 years, if you have been for five years in business, the course is suitable for you. But I personally interview to make sure that the course is suitable for you. Or if you're interested in, you can have it all workshop, you can let me know, we send you all the details. The last word that I have for you is that everything around you is created with your energy. Invest in that energy. You can't pour from an empty cup. So make sure that your own desires, your own needs are met before you try to meet everybody else's desires and needs. That's a mistake that I did in the first couple of years of my business and as a new mom. But now I realize that I repeat this because it's so important. Everybody around you, they deserve the best version of you. Give them your best version and invest in yourself, invest in your education and your company as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mona,
Thank you for
sharing.
having me. This was really fun.
Absolutely. I hope all of you enjoyed this session. Definitely log on to monatavassoli.com/Namita to download the freebie that she's made with a list of all the magazines and the right contacts you need for your business. I hope this session would give a lot of value for the time that you've invested in watching the replay or being with us on the live session. Again, if you have questions, you can post it even after the show is over. I'll see you guys next week, next Monday, with yet another amazing guest. Until then, have a lovely week ahead. Bye-bye.
Bye.